Some of the highlights I made while reading the book Practice of Bramachyra. Long post. I am not sure if this post violates the guidelines, but let me just post them. Please be sure to read the book. It contains useful information for anyone following this path. Ignore the religious aspects and just focus on the practice of celibacy. Also, there are few Sanskrit terms you may not understand. Just Google it, you should be able to find the meaning. Jnana and Vichara can be secured only by the preservation of virya. If a man has not got these qualifications, he should really be reckoned as a veritable animal only. That which differentiates a man from an animal is dharma, vivka, and vichara sakti. Give up identification with this body by meditating upon the glory of the Siddha Atman. Lack of spiritual sadhana is the main cause for all sexual attractions. Mere theoretical abstention from sensuality will not bring you good results. You must mercilessly cut off all formalities in social life and lead a pious life freed from the business of bodily existence. A life of continence is really beset with difficulties. But the path becomes smooth for a man of iron determination, patience, and perseverance. We want real, practical men in the field, men who are practical brahmacharis, men who can impress people by their strong physique, ideal lives, noble character, and spiritual strength. Mere idle talk is of no use whatsoever. Beware. Generate the spiritual wave of devotion through japa, satsanga, meditation, and vichara, and kill this attraction in the bud. He who is able to endure here on earth, before he is liberated from the body, the force born of desire and passion, he is harmonized, he is a happy man. Just as petrol or steam moves the engine, the instincts and impulses move this body. The instincts are the prime movers of all human activities. They give a push to the body and move the indriyas to action. The instincts create habits. The instinctive impulses supply the driving power by which all mental activities are kept up. These impulses are mental forces. They operate through the mind and the intellect. They mold the life of a man. The mystery of life lies in them. Moonlit night, scents and perfumes, flowers and garlands, sandal, paste, meat and liquor, theaters and novels are his mighty weapons to delude the passionate young men. Lust is powerful. It carries a flowery bow equipped with 5 arrows, namely, mohana, stambhana, unmadana, sashana and tapana, fascination, stupefaction, intoxication, emaciation, and burning. One arrow causes fascination in young men when they see a beautiful form. Another arrests their attention. The third intoxicates them. The 4th arrow causes intense attraction towards the form. The 5th arrow inflames and burns their heart. It pierces their cardiac chambers deeply. No one on this earth, nay, in all the 3 worlds, has the power to resist the potential influence of these arrows. The sex impulse is only a nervous itching. The satisfaction of this impulse begets a delusive pleasure, but it has a disastrous effect on the spiritual well-being of the person. A sexual act produces a samskara or impression in the subconscious mind or chit. This samskara raises a vritti or thought wave in the mind, and the vritti again causes a samskara. Enjoyment thickens the vasanas. Through memory and imagination, a revival of the sexual desire comes in. Draw the sex energy up towards the brain through uddiyana and kumhaka. Divert the mind. Chant Om or any other mantra with concentration. Pray, meditate. If you still find it difficult to control the mind, immediately seek satsanga and do not remain alone. When the strong impulse manifests suddenly and is transmitted to the organ, you forget everything and become blind. You become a prey to lust. Later on you repent. The senses must be controlled by various methods such as fasting, restriction in diet, pranayama, japa, kirtan, meditation, vichara or inquiry of who am I, pratyahara or abstraction, dhamma or self-restraint, asanas, bandhas, mudras, thought control and destruction of vasanas. Safeguard yourself against the error of foolishly imagining that you have succeeded in getting rid of lust by the mere fact of having lived a single life for a number of years or experiencing a little feeling of serenity or purity. You must not labor under the delusion that you have eradicated lust completely by adjusting the diet a bit, by practicing pranayama and by doing a little japa, and that you have nothing more to do. Temptation or mara may overcome you at any moment. Eternal vigilance and rigorous sadhana are very essential. You cannot attain perfect bramacharya by limited effort. Just as a machine gun is necessary to kill a powerful enemy, so also, constant, vigorous, powerful sadhana is necessary to annihilate this powerful enemy, lust. You must not be puffed up with pride for your little achievement in celibacy. If you are put to test, you will hopelessly fail. You must be ever conscious of your shortcomings and you must constantly strive to get rid of them. The highest effort is necessary. Then only you will have sanguine success in this direction. Passion is a very strong desire. A mild desire becomes a strong passion by frequent repetition or frequent enjoyment. Even so, if there are some vishayavritis or sensual thoughts in the pure mind of a person who practices constant meditation, they will not pollute the man and induce vichara or passionate excitement. But if there are sensual thoughts in persons with impure minds, they cause immediate excitement in them when they come across sensual objects. And if it is made to flow upwards into the brain by pure thoughts in the practice of Viparita mudras such as Sarvangasana and Sirsasana and Pranayama, the mind and the prana are automatically controlled. Bramacharya literally means a kara or conduct that leads to the realization of Brahman or one's own self. Intense sadhana, burning vairagya, and burning mumukshutva or desire for liberation bring on the highest degree of mental purity quickly. Just as the oil comes up in a wick and burns with glowing light, so also, the virya or semen flows up by the practice of yoga sadhana and is converted into tejas or ajas. The brahmachari shines with brahmic aura in his face. Bramacharya is the bright light that shines in the house of the human body. It is the blossomed flower of life around which the bees of strength, patience, knowledge, purity, and dhri wander about humming hither and thither. In other words, he who observes Bramacharya will be endowed with the above qualities. The scriptures declare emphatically, Ayus teju balam viryam prajna sri cha yashastatha punyam sha satprayavam chavardhate. Brahmacharya by the practice of Brahmacharya, longevity, glory, strength, vigor, knowledge, wealth, undying fame, virtues, and devotion to the truth increase. He who is established in Brahmacharya will have lustrous eyes, a sweet voice and a beautiful complexion. A sweet voice and a beautiful complexion. By the establishment of continence, vigor is obtained. The yogi gets sthiti or perfection by attaining perfect mental and physical Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya helps him in gaining divine knowledge and other sthis. When there is purity, the rays of the mind are not dissipated. Focusing of the mind becomes easy. Concentration and purity go together. Although a sage talks a few words only, a deep impression is produced in the minds of the hearers. This is due to his ajas sakti, which is conserved by the preservation of semen and its transmutation. Yama is the practice of ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha, non-killing, truthfulness, non-stealing, celibacy and non-receiving of gifts. Among these Brahmacharya is the most important. Brahmacharya is the most important. In Jnana Yoga too, Dhamma or self-control is the foundation for the student. In the Mahabharata again, you will find, in the Santiparva, many are the branches of Dharma, but Dhamma is the basis of them all. Through Brahmacharya get over the miseries of mundane life and attain health, strength, peace of mind, endurance, bravery, material progress, psychic advancement and immortality. One who has a perfect control over the sexual energy attains powers unobtainable by any other means. Therefore, dissipate not thy energy in sensual pleasures. Conserve thy energy. Do noble deeds and practice meditation. You will soon become a Superman. You will commune with God and attain divinity. Pravriti Marga or the path of Karma Yoga is as much difficult and rigid as that of Nvriti Marga or the path of renunciation. A man who has a great deal of ajas in his brain can turn out immense mental work. He is very intelligent. He has lustrous eyes and a magnetic aura in his face. He can influence people by speaking a few words. A short speech of his produces a tremendous impression on the minds of the hearers. His speech is thrilling. He has an awe-inspiring personality. Sri Sankara, an Akhanda brahmachari, worked wonders through his power of ajas. He did digvijaya and held controversies and heated debates in different parts of India with learned scholars through his power of ajas. A yogi always directs his attention to the accumulation of this divine energy by unbroken chastity. An Urdhvareta yogi is one in whom the seminal energy has flown upwards into the brain as ajas sakti. May we all practice perfect celibacy through the practice of sama, dhamma, vivka, vichara, vairagya, pranayama, japa, and dhyana and reach the goal of life. May the indweller of our hearts grant us spiritual strength to control the indriyas and the mind. May we all become full Urdhvareta yogis like Sankara and Jnana Dev of yore. May their blessings be upon us all. Cheru, Havisanam, milk, wheat, barley, bread, ghee, butter, dried ginger, green gram, potatoes, dates, plantains, curd, almonds, and fruits are all sattvic articles of food. Cheru is a mixture of boiled white rice, ghee, white sugar, and milk. Havisanam is also a similar preparation. This is very useful for spiritual aspirants. Milk is a perfect food by itself, containing as it does, the different nutritive constituents in a well-balanced proportion. This is an ideal food for yogins and brahmacharians. Fruits are great energy producers. Bananas, grapes, sweet oranges, apples, pomegranates, and mangoes are wholesome and nutritious. Dry fruits such as grapes, raisins, dates, and figs, sweet fresh fruits such as bananas, mangoes, sapotas, melons, limes, pineapples, apples, wood apples, and sweet pomegranates, sugar and sugar candy, honey, sago, arrowroot, milk, butter, and ghee of cows, tender coconut water, coconut, almonds, pistachio nuts, turtle, ragi, barley, maize, wheat, rice of red paddy whose bran is only partly removed and rice of good smell or sweet taste, and all preparations from any of these grains, and white pumpkin are sattvic articles for keeping up bramacharya. End of Part 2. Highly seasoned dishes, hot curries, chutneys, chilies, meat, fish, eggs, tobacco, liquor, sour articles, oil of all kinds, garlic, onions, bitter things, sour curd, stale food, acids, astringents, pungent stuffs, roasted things, overripe and unripe fruits, heavy vegetables, and salt are not at all beneficial. Onions and garlic are worse than meat. Salt is the worst enemy. Too much salt excites passion. Even if you do not take salt separately, the system will derive the necessary quantity of salt from other foodstuffs. All foodstuffs contain salt. Giving up of salt helps you in controlling the tongue and thereby the mind and all the other indriyas. Mitahara is moderation in food. Take wholesome sattvic food half stomachful. Fill a quarter with pure water. Allow the remaining part free. This is mitahara. Brahmacharians should always take mitahara only. They should be very careful about their night diet. They should never overload the stomach at night. Overloading is the direct cause for nocturnal emissions. Repeat OM mentally several times with meaning. Think of purity. Do 20 pranayamas. The cloud of impurity will pass off soon. Do not mix unnecessarily with women. See only the Divine Mother in them. Develop a Trinabhava in all. Surshasana, Sarvangasana, Siddhasana, Sukha Pranayama, and Uddiyana Bandha are all very effective in eradicating spermatozoe. Practice them and realize the incalculable benefits. Practice deep breathing and Bastrika Pranayama. Take long walks. Take part in sports. Do not overload your stomach at night. The night meals should be very light. Half a liter of milk or some fruits will constitute a good regimen or menu at night. An ever-vigilant brahmachari should always watch his thoughts very carefully. He should never allow even a single bad thought to enter the gate of the mental factory. If his mind is ever fixed on his dhyaya or lakshya or objective meditation, there is no room for the entry of an evil thought. Even if an evil thought has entered the trapdoor of the mind, he should not allow the mind to assume a mental state with this idea. If he falls a victim, the thought current will be transmitted to the physical body. Burning of the indriyas and the physical nervous system will follow. This is a serious condition. The bad thought should be nipped in the bud by supplanting counter-divine thoughts. It should not be allowed to penetrate the physical body. If your will is thoughts, it should not be allowed to penetrate the physical body. If your will is strong, the evil thought can be driven at once. Pranayama, vigorous prayer, vichara, at might contemplation, saguna meditation, and satsanga can nip the evil thoughts in the bud at the threshold of the mental factory. The combat will be keen in the beginning. When you become purer and purer, when your willpower develops, when you develop more sattva or purity, and when you have a habitual meditative mood, you will be established in physical and mental brahmacharya. Understand the power of thought and utilize it profitably. Understand the ways of the mind. Learn how to use the pure will. Become a vigilant, dexterous watchman of your thoughts. Curb them before they raise their heads out of the mind through skill and wisdom. It is the mind that really does all actions. A desire arises in your mind and then you think. Then you proceed to act. the determination of the mind is put into action. First there is syncopa or thought and then comes action. Therefore, do not allow the sexual thoughts to enter the mind. That which is thought of is spoken by the tongue. That which the tongue speaks of, the organs of action do. That is the reason why it is said in the Vedas, let my mind think of auspicious things. Strong, the evil thought can be driven at once. Pranayama, vigorous prayer, vichara, at might contemplation, saguna meditation, and satsanga can nip the evil thoughts in the bud at the threshold of the mental factory. The combat will be keen in the beginning. When you become purer and purer, when your willpower develops, when you develop more sattva or purity, and when you have a habitual meditative mood, you will be established in physical and mental bramachyra. Understand the power of thought and utilize it profitably. Understand the ways of the mind. Learn how to use the pure will. Become a vigilant, dexterous watchman of your thoughts. Curb them before they raise their heads out of the mind through skill and wisdom.